Hey there friends, it's Codiak here. Welcome back to Legacy Gaming. For the last few weeks, Livin and I have been immersed in V Rising, the game that's pretty much taken over the lives of the PC gaming world as we head into the summer. We already did a full worth your time review of the game, so if you're looking for actual info about the gameplay, systems, etc., go check out that video. Today I really just wanted to riff on the success of V Rising, break down some insight from the devs moving forward, and explain for those that just don't understand why we think the game has become a massive success. First off, understand this. V Rising really didn't have a huge marketing launch. There were a few trailers and a couple of content creators paid to play the game, but that's really it. If you compare the launch of V Rising to something like New World, the investment is night and day. One of the reasons for that, in my opinion, is the early access part, right? V Rising is an early access game, and so marketing folks always have to decide, okay, how are we going to spend our money? Are we going to do it now at the front half or the back half when 1.0 is about to launch? I think history has kind of proven that you really only get one shot to make a first impression. And while the 1.0 launch of games is important, you rarely see a game pop off to unexpected levels during a 1.0 launch when it had a lackluster early access period. So what went right for Stunlock Studios? Because they didn't invest a whole lot of money into advertising and they still managed to hit a home run. In my opinion, the landscape was just primed for that next addictive game. The highs from earlier in the year with games like Lost Ark, Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring had all really worn off, and people were falling back into their habit games. The second part of that is the fact that V Rising is just a really sharp game, top to bottom. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but Livin and I tried to make it clear in our review that for an early access title, V Rising checks off nearly every single box. Not only does it appeal to survival fans, but it also manages to capture MOBA fans, ARPG fans, MMO fans, the list goes on. It made some really key decisions early on, implemented at launch, which includes things like multiple types of servers for both PvE and PvP players, the option to host private servers with setting manipulation, small clan sizes, and that one I can't stress enough. Survival fans are done with being steamrolled by Zergs, and Stunlock made the smart decision to take them out of the equation. Sure, clans can team up and do some less than wholesome things, but the small clan size works. Zergs have this really bad tendency to just stop the momentum of a game in its tracks. And sure, it's fun if you're part of the Zerg in the moment, but if I think back to my last Oasis days where 3 or 4 massive clans controlled the entire community, there's a clear link to that experience and the reason why a lot of people just moved on. So to get back to it, it's those two things, the gaming landscape being primed for a big game, and the fact that V Rising is a really solid game helped catapult it into the limelight. Recently, the developers revealed that the studio surpassed 1 million sales of the game, and that's just on PC, keep that in mind. Do some quick math, and at $20 a pop, that's $20 million the team raked in the first few weeks. Keep in mind that doesn't include the launch DLC or any sales after that. Long story short, the team has a comfortable foundation for keeping the game on track, developing new content, and pushing through early access with bold ideas. Today, May 30th, 2022, the devs released their first blog post-early access launch, and I wanted to drill down on some of the things that they teased. First and foremost, don't expect content drops frequently. The team made it clear that they'll prioritize bigger updates over small updates, making it meaningful for players to come back to the game with more enticing offerings. They also said that their primary focus right now is bug fixes, balancing changes, server optimization, and quality of life improvements. I actually prefer this approach for this game because, again, the foundation is there. V Rising is already a good game, and if you can work on the things that need to be worked on now, and then focus all of their efforts on additional content after smoothing out the wrinkles, that's going to make for a better long-term experience for everyone. The inevitable truth is that the hardcore players are just going to lose interest in the game. That's just the way these things go, especially when there's a pretty definitive endpoint to V Rising right now. On the other hand, casual players with not a lot of time to spare will keep the game alive, logging in every couple of days, killing a V-Blood unit or two, doing a little base work, and logging off. The beautiful thing is, when the first big content drop does come out, those hardcore players will come rushing back, and hopefully, given the time to catch up, more casual players will be able to jump into that content as well. Now, in my estimation, the reason why those hardcore players are going to come back is because if that first content drop really is meaningful, then they'll want to experience everything new within V Rising. They have good memories of the game, they really like the game, so that first content offering will be enough just as a tease to entice them to come back. It's a really smart approach, made better by the fact that, again, the game is just really good. In terms of what happens after all of those balances and bug fixes, well, I think it's best to quote the next line here, which I imagine was written by Jeremy Bearson, the community manager for Stunlock. It says, "The next steps will be to analyze all of the data and feedback from the first few weeks of early access to make sure we can nail the master plan moving forward. We're already working on new material to inject more life into Verderon, but improving on the game is more than just adding more content on top of what we already have. We'll have to improve on the entire journey to make sure V Rising will reach its full potential." Now, I've had a number of really great conversations with Jeremy, and this is exactly the vision he's laid out, so I'm comfortable saying this seems to be in lockstep with the overall vision for the game. Again, I think this is smart, but there is a catch-22 here, and I think everyone, player and dev alike, realize that if the team takes too long to inject more life, to use their phrasing, into the game, there is a window of opportunity that might be missed. The best way to keep the momentum of a game going is by keeping it relevant, and if too many players fall off the bandwagon, then the team is forced to deal with the issues that stem from that decline in player base. I do think the small server and small clan size is a nice buffer from some of the more traditional issues large pop survival games deal with, but still, it's an issue that has to be jostling around the team's mind on occasion. The thing is though, V Rising's initial success is really going to allow the team the time to develop without limitation, and they actually bring that up in the blog post, saying this: "The massive support V Rising received will not only give us the opportunity to finalize our plans for the game, but it will also give us enough time to include some of your darkest dreams of what the experience can look like at the full release. We can promise you something very special for 1.0. Just that paragraph alone makes me confident that the team is really working towards that 1.0 launch, having that true launch experience and trying to let their game and the new ideas they bring to the genre sell itself. Now, if you're worried that means we're at the end of the line in terms of what we currently have, weapons, abilities, V-Blood bosses, don't panic, because right after that, the post goes on to explain that all of those things will be expanded in the future. One other thing I've been thinking about quite a bit are the upcoming game festivals. Not only do you have the Summer Game Fest, but you have an Xbox Bethesda showcase, a Sony State of Play, the PC Gaming Showcase, lots of different things that will, no doubt, inject a whole lot of newness into the gaming landscape. Let's be honest, apart from a couple big games like Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy, the rest of 2022 is a pretty big question mark. There have been rumors circulating that every Xbox studio has pitched a game for their showcase, and I have no doubt Summer Game Fest will also present some huge new games, so yeah, things are about to change, and that could, to tie it back to V Rising, stop the momentum of the game. With all that in mind, honestly, what do you guys think? I know there is a small group of our subscribers that are playing and loving V Rising, so if you have a few seconds, let us know what you think about the future of the game in the comments section. Right now, it's pretty unclear when and what the next new content will be, but in terms of an overall vision for the game, I think Stunlock has laid out a pretty enticing experience, but let us know what you think. I did want to end with an image released by the team showcasing some concept art, hinting at what could possibly come next for players. It's always been pretty clear to us that the Hollowed Mountains weren't complete, and this image kind of confirms that. We see almost a Niflheim-style world with lots of ice and even some fire. The reason I lean into the Norse mythology is because in the distance, you see a horned humanoid, clearly larger than life, and that, in my mind, immediately makes me think of things like the Nine Realms. We'll have to wait and see, but needless to say, I'm excited. So there you have it, a small glimpse at what the developers are thinking about for the future of V Rising and the exciting journey we've just begun with the game. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. We don't typically make these types of videos, but we always enjoy reading the feedback from you all in regards to what you think should happen next. Of course, if you did like this video and you want us to continue on with our V Rising series, we need your help. Hit that thumbs up and consider subscribing. It's still the single best way to help channels like ours reach new audiences. If you are interested in joining our V Rising private server, consider joining us on Discord. We've got a small PvP server with 2x resources set up for anyone to use. Just check out the link below and join today. Finally, if you like everything we're doing here on the channel and you want to support us even more, you can do so by becoming a member. For just a few bucks, you're helping Livin and I achieve our dreams of becoming full-time content creators. Check out the join button below to learn more. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.